What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I am, of course, your host, Reckless Rex Ruger, along with my pal, the Alexis Arguello Puppet.
And I'm your other host, Frank Benjis, back with another one.
Yeah, and we got ourselves a good one, an interesting one, exactly what you've come to expect from the Off the Couch Boxing. And he's here now. Promptness, always appreciated. We're going over the pond. You're looking at Mr. and Mr. International.
Mr. and Mr.
Yeah, that's right. No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. We'll even go overseas. We don't care. We do not care. We don't. Where's my man? Where's my man? We'll get him in here.
If you tap your screen at the bottom, there's a microphone and a video. You got to tap both of those.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, there should be like a camera icon down there. Yeah.
There you go.
There he is. Oh, we had him. There he is. Jerome, how's it going, man?
Managing, surviving, doing what needs to be done.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah, guys, all right.
Yeah, we're fantastic, man. I appreciate you asking. So full disclosure, I've just recently started your book, and I'm not all the way through it yet, but I find it very fascinating, though, that you chose to journal and almost almost diary your way through like your recovery process. How did that come to you? The idea to do a book about all this?
Basically, it was some of the therapists in hospital because I was having problems remembering things when I was in hospital. So the strategy they said was to write things down so you to remember what's happening, who's been, and just important things. So that's basically what I did. So I chronicalized all. Well, I kept on doing that when I left hospital. I was in hospital for about 2 months.
Yeah.
It was quite difficult, but at the same time, I thought I'm going to continue to do this because it allows me to look back on what I've actually gone through and what's happening. Try and make more sense of what's happening.
Yeah. Well, for people that don't know, catch people a little bit up to speed who might not know your story, exactly what happened on September 12th, which oddly enough is my wedding anniversary, September 12th.
Yeah, I know it's a good day for some, tragic day for me and my family, but that's life, isn't it? We have ups and downs all the time, but yeah, that's it. So yeah, September 12th, I had I didn't know it was going to be my final fight in the ring. Basically, I was in a rematch because of the fight I had previous a few months before that fight. Was one of the best fights, small hall fights. One of the best fights that a lot of fight fans that they like to see it, toe action, and it called for a rematch. So we had the rematch. Long story short, got to the last round, and I encountered some heavy blows that caused the rupture and bleed in my brain, where I was basically, when I was knocked down to the canvas, it looked like I was dead on the canvas. So basically, I had to be taken to hospital so they could perform life-saving brain surgery on my head. I had a craniotomy because I had a bleed on the brain, so they had to take off quarter of my skull off my head to relieve that pressure and obviously try to save my life, basically. So I was in a coma for 10 days.
Benji, that's why we're safer on the couch.
Yeah.
No bullshit with boxing, folks. And that's why I want to drive home the point while you're on here that we always make it a point to never disparage any guys, regardless of their record or anything. No guy is a bum that climbs through those ropes. I'm sorry, man. They're not. It takes the utmost courage, man. Like, you guys are literally, entering into a job where literally you are, a lot of people think about policemen and firemen, but you guys really are in a profession where you risk your life.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. And not for much reward starting off. But
that's true
it's
too.
one of them you do it for the love of it. Well, I can only speak for myself. I did it for the love of it. I love to compete. I like the competition. I had decent potential. And I just wanted to just pursue my career and just try. And you know what I mean? Just to try to do something good.
I'm interested.
Unfortunately, came to an end.
I'm interested about this tragic set of circumstances obviously happened in your 11th pro fight. But why this 11th pro fight? I read a very interesting article where you sent a very lengthy message to, I believe it was your stepson, that you had a premonition that something bad or tragic was going to happen in this fight. Why that fight? And to talk a little bit about that premonition that you had.
You know what? It's weird. Do you know when I talk about this, people will think I'm mad, but I don't see myself as being not spiritual. I don't know. It's the word spiritual, that the word, or psychic. I don't know, but
Yeah.
in the first fight was it was a tough fight for both of us, and it was one of the fights where it was all toe to toe, and we put a lot on the line. But basically now, after that fight, we were gonna have a rematch. But there was something in my mind. I trained very hard for that fight, for the rematch.
You looked in incredible shape. Yeah.
I was in good shape. Trained very hard. Was disciplined. But there was something in my mind that told me just to send a message, contact my people, tell them that I love them. I don't know what it was. I have no idea what it was. I had no fear. I don't have any fear at all, because otherwise I wouldn't do it. But there's an element of, I don't know, it was just, I felt something was going to happen. It felt like something was going to happen. And I don't know. I just had to say what I had to say. And I don't know, I had no control over it. I felt it was the right thing to do. So I did it.
Now, did it have something to do with Serge? I might be saying his name wrong. Serge Aboma, the guy you fought. Did it have something to do with the fact that the first fight was so tough? Did that give you this premonition that, hey, I was in a dogfight with this guy the first time? It's probably going to be the same again.
Could be an element of that. But yeah, it could be an element of that. But I never, I've always thought, you can die in that ring, but I never thought I was gonna. But that message came across as like something very bad was gonna happen.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was gonna be that bad though. Nobody ever thinks that something like that's gonna happen when they enter a ring.
That's
they
true.
know in the back of their head, they know it could happen, but you never really think about it too much.
Right.
And even though I wrote that message to him, I didn't think it was really gonna happen. But it was something that pushed me over the edge to just do it, to say that to him.
That's interesting.
If something happens to me, just look after the family. I remember that. Just make sure, I've been hard on you in the past. It's only because I believe in you and I want you to pursue, just be a role model to the rest of the kids. And look after your mom and things like that. And it was just that was just in my mind, just to say that. I don't know why. It was just there.
One of those mysteries of the universe, why stuff comes over us like that. Go ahead, Benji. I see you chomping at the bit over there.
No, I just want to ask him, going through that recovery process after like the craniotomy and stuff, you obviously probably in the back of your head know you're not going to be able to fight again. So like when you're going back and you're going through this process, what in your head, like what are you thinking is like my future is going to be like if and when I come through this?
Well, I paint a picture. I was in a bed. I had quarter my skull off my head. I had bandages around my head, and I was paralyzed in my bed. I couldn't move. I had my friends and people coming around my bedside talking. They, we okay, and glad to see that you're doing well and things like that. And I'm saying to people, I'm going to be working again in 3 months' time. I'll be fighting again.
Yeah,
they're the first things I said. I said I'll be fighting again. And I remember that, and I was deadly serious. I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna get a license somewhere, and I'm gonna fight again. I've been all right, not knowing, fully understanding the severity of my injury. It's like I've been learning for many years all the deficits that I've got from my brain injury and how to live, life more realistically. And it's an ongoing thing, ongoing process where you're just trying to find out your right path, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Just try and find the right procedures to follow each day and try not to be too too impulsive kind of thing.
That's honestly what I was kind of questioning is like how do you like navigate those waters, like being a fighter and having that kind of will, you want to go back to that, but
it's up and down. It's one of them.
Yeah.
And the mind says you want to do it, but the body is telling you otherwise. You can't do it.
It's very similar. It's very similar to what Vinny Pazienza went through when he got in the car accident. He broke his neck, and that was the first thing when he woke up. He said, no. Hey, my career's not over. I'm going to fight again. He actually did, which was probably not probably not a wise choice, but probably ill-advised. He did come back with some success, not the success he had early in his career before the accident, but that probably wouldn't have been greatly advised by the doctors. Certainly a triumphant story, but, I work in the healthcare field. I am a nurse. I'm pretty sure that a doctor would probably not tell somebody after a broken neck to go absorb punches to their head. I mean,
exactly.
And the same in your situation too. So how hard of a pill was that to swallow, and how did you reconcile getting through that and finally come to the realization? What was that moment like for you? Like when it finally, really struck a chord with you that you weren't going to fight again?
Yeah, a tough pill to swallow. One of them. It's very difficult, but it's like I look at my family, and my partner was pregnant. She was 10 weeks pregnant with my son, my second child. And I'm thinking, I'm very fortunate to be alive, and I want to see my kids grow up. Do you know what I mean? And I want to be able to be hands-on, eventually, when my child is born. It's like, what? The reality of things, I think I can't think that way, and I'm gonna have to change my lifestyle a lot. You know what I mean? So it's one of them things. I have to be realistic,
right?
And if I want to live and see people develop and grow, and me being alive, I'm gonna have to change that way of thinking at times.
It's like retraining, retraining the mind. Yeah,
it is. It's a mindset thing as well. But it's been very difficult because I love watching my friends fighting. I watch boxing now and again. Still love sport. I still love the sport of boxing. Can't stand the business of boxing.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. Believe me.
Of course you do. It's just the reality of it. Can't sugarcoat it because it's just the reality. It's a tough business. But the sport and what it teaches you is like it can be life changing.
Now, what was the recovery process like for you? Like, did you have to relearn certain stuff, like talking, walking, all that stuff? What was the journey back like?
Okay, in hospital, I had tubes in my nose because I couldn't eat. I wasn't able to eat properly, and I was more or less paralyzed. I couldn't really move, so I had to learn to steady step to walk properly. I couldn't see properly. Everybody had 4 heads. Literally, when I was looking at my eyes, I thought I was gonna be like that forever. I couldn't see properly, so I had to have prism glasses. So it's where I had to retrain my eyesight. Fortunately enough, obviously that's improved a bit, but just with a bit of deficits with a little bit of vision problems on my left. But it's very well considering. But it's been like the mental side of things, the low mood and things like that. That's been very challenging to try and adjust to and adapt to. But it's one of them things where you have to own up to it a little bit and understand that that's what you're living with, and you're having to try and look at triggers and try to manage things on a day-to-day basis, kind of thing. But the left side weakness, I had to learn to walk again properly. It's been ups and downs kind of thing.
How does a guy like you get into boxing? You seem like such a nice, mild-mannered guy. Like, were you somebody that got into fights a lot as a kid? Like, how did you find out that you had this penchant for fighting?
I've always been athletic. I've always been involved in sport. Started off with karate. My dad used to teach me karate. Me and my brother karate when we were younger. So we always know how to look after ourselves. But I was always one for basketball. I'm very small, but I'm very fast and agile. Like point guard position. But I used to play basketball. But a lot of my friends, they lived in an area where there was a boxing gym. You call it concrete canvas. You call it in Hyde Park in Sheffield. And there was 2 trainers, a guy called Dave Caldwell and Chris Medley. Both them 2 were running the gym. So my friends went to the gym and they said, "Oh, come down, come down." I went to the gym. I fell in love with it. Saw a lot of the fighters there, moving around, sparring each other, fighting, very competitive. And I just loved it. And adapted. I learned the basics, learned footwork, movement, and I loved it. I just loved it all. The people that were in there, and the challenges that were there. I loved that challenge. So that's basically why I stuck with the sport. And I said I saw potential. Training said they saw potential in me, and I believed in him. So that's why I thought, you know what, I'm gonna stick with this and see where I can go with it.
And did you have a guy that you looked up to? You know, when you started getting into boxing, it seems like everybody's got that guy that, you know, who's kind of like their hero. You know what I mean? Like, was there that guy for you in boxing?
There was a few fighters that I was told to watch and study. So there was the normal legends as Sugar Ray Leonard. There was Pernell Whitaker. There was Roy Jones Jr. There was Floyd Mayweather. There was Tyson.
All good guys. All good guys to study. Nothing wrong with nothing wrong with learning from them.
No. But I love the style that they had. The style and the movement. It's because it's people can underestimate. It can look good. They can make it look easy, but when they try it, they know it's not. And it's something that you have to master. And you either got it or you haven't. And trying to master that and do it effortlessly is very demanding on the mind and the body.
Sure.
And I love that art of it. I love the art of the sport, and I took a lot away from that, from watching that.
Yeah.
When people make things look easy, and you know, it's not when you try it. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
That's why I always think that when and I'll ask you this as kind of like a two-part thing, I guess, because I'll say first that I think when the MMA guys come over to boxing, they're used to being able to just maul a guy on the ground after they knock him down. But in boxing, you got to give a guy a chance. I feel like that's why most of the time they don't win. But I'm curious what you think about those crossover fights and just like Jake Paul fighting like YouTubers, like KSI even.
I wouldn't even put them in the same category as boxing. I see it as an entertainment. Boxing it can be entertainment on a bigger level. It's entertainment. They've got their own fan base, and they can draw people into the sport, make people, shine the light on the sport a little bit. But I think people see it as people have become a bit blinkered, thinking that every fighter is going to be making millions and every fighter is going to have loads of following. And if you've not got a lot of following, you're not a great fighter, and this, that, and other. And it becomes very superficial a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People think that there's all more corrupt and it's all scripted and this, that, and other. I hear all the conversations. People say, "Oh, you see that fight?" Oh, I'm not really a big fan of the crossover fights, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just like the art. I see two good fighters, or two fighters putting all on the line, and it's competitive, and that's what I love to see. I love to see that.
Now, very similar to your not exactly the same circumstances, but we obviously saw back in the mid '90s tragic circumstances with Gerald McClellan and Nigel Benn, and obviously, Nigel Benn. There was a documentary about it that was wonderfully done, where he felt a lot of guilt, carried a lot of guilt. Have you been in touch with your opponent that night? Do you have any kind of relationship with him, and how does he feel about your circumstances?
Well, I don't have nothing to do with the guy, to be honest. He still fights, I understand, but I don't think he's never fought at the same weight. When we fought 10 stone, and he's never revisited that weight. I don't think. I think he's just been fighting on the road and fighting at heavier weights than what really he should be fighting at, from what I've seen. But I'm not really been following his progress. But I've heard. The guy basically bent when I was on the canvas. I don't know if it's his tradition or anything. I'm not too sure. This guy's from Cameroon. He was undefeated at the time. But basically, when I was on the canvas, I looked like because I watched the fight back, it looked like I was dying. He leant down on his knees and he bent down and he kissed me on the forehead. And then he gestured to the crowd, did a cutthroat gesture to the rest of the people, my family, my partner was pregnant in the crowd. My partner's father, my brother, other family that were there, just did a quick throat gesture, and I'm basically looked like I'm dying on the floor. And I thought, you know what? When I knew this, I thought that's wrong. That bang out of order. My mom's been sick in a bucket. She's thinking she's losing her son. I'm thinking he's not put me in that position. I know. What I did say, I said, you know what? The fight, what happened in the fight, it happened. I risked my life. I put my life on the line there. It happened. I have no resentment for that. Right. I said, what's happened has happened. Do you know what I mean? But your reaction and what you've done after, I messaged the guy and I said this to him. I said, but what the reaction for what you did, I says, I got no words to say to you about that. I said, So that's unforgivable.
It's pretty
I mean,
tasteless.
it's
It is.
It is. But I could never do that myself. I mean, they're different. Everyone's different. But I thought, nah.
I thought this was going to have a happy twist when you told me that he bent down to give you a kiss on the forehead. I thought we were going in a completely different direction, Jerome.
No.
I thought maybe he's down there kissing and praying or something, man. I mean, Jesus, man, the cutthroat sign is harsh.
No, I know. He's looking to have left their life. Say that again, sir.
You should win in grace and lose in grace.
Absolutely.
In the ideal world, isn't it? In the ideal world, that's how it should be. But some people, you don't know how you're gonna react when good things happen and when bad things happen. So what happens happens.
There's always gonna be trash talk and bad mouthing of guys, but you do that in the lead up to the fight, and then after the fight, we hug and we embrace, and all that's over with.
You have a bit of respect.
Yeah, that's part of the business. The trash talking is part of the business, and the selling the fight. But I mean, when someone falls on tragic circumstances like that, and obviously we're not telling anybody anything that they don't know. Obviously, boxing is dangerous. We see a lot of CTE. Speak a little bit about that. Has this made you more sensitive to to the dangers of boxing? Is this something that you've kind of taken on as a campaign about speaking out against?
In the early days, I thought, I'm going to let people understand about what brain injury is about and how it can affect people, because I was still learning about it myself, understanding what my own deficits are. But then I felt it was a bit too much, because it's not for everybody. I've made people aware, but in more, how can I say, more in a more controlled environment. So I did a lot of work. We've got NHS over here and that help people, that experience brain injuries. So I put my energy into, doing a bit of volunteering, helping other people with brain injuries live life afterwards with their family and how they're just based on my own experiences. But that was probably about 2 years or so after, living with my brain injury, that I was enabled to verbalize my experiences and how the effects and different strategies I've put in place to try and manage on a day-to-day, because it's far from perfect, because I make mistakes, but that's just I'm human and I'm normal, and I'm very proud to be able to do the things that I can do, considering what my body's gone through, what I've had to go through, and what I'm managing and dealing with. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to help other people and give myself a sense of pride a little bit, because I'm able to do something like once a week, and just been building up from that, and then basically be getting into work more on a day-to-day basis. It's taken many years. What has it been? 9 years, 10 years, or something like that.
2014,
So it's been a very long process, and it's something I have to live with every day. The pain, the deficits that I have, the lifestyle, not being able to do certain things with ease. That kind of reality is very difficult. I did things without even thinking about it. Just very athletic, very one of them people that would just could turn on to anything and just be decent at it. Do you know what I mean?
I can totally relate. I could totally relate. I injured my back. I had 2 back surgeries, and you start to realize even small things. Like for a while, it was even a war to bend over and tie my shoes. You know what I mean? You're in chronic pain all the time, and you realize, geez, I can't just go out and swing a baseball bat or do the things I used to do that I considered simple.
You're adapting. You do things slightly differently.
Yeah, you do. You have to learn to adapt
in a more controlled way. But it's an eye opener. It is an eye opener
for sure.
But I am glad that I did look after myself. I looked after my body.
Well, you look fantastic. You look fantastic. And you sound fantastic. And of course, I think the audience would love to know, certainly, how is your overall health right now?
Yeah, right now I have my issues, but at the same time I try not to think about them too much. My mindset is very strong, a lot stronger than it was before my injury, because I've had to go through a lot each day, and I have to manage a lot each day. I have pain every single day. I have the vision problems a lot of the time. My short-term memory is not great. I write things down all the time. I used to, my grandma, I always tell my grandma to write things down, or, you know, because she used to forget things a lot. And now with me, I'm doing the same thing all the time at my age.
Yeah.
So if I don't write it down, I forget it. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them things. So notes, calendar in my phone, just making sure everything's you know, up to date, so I know what's what, I know where I need to be.
Well,
And
you
them
look
kind of things
fantastic.
are just,
Yeah.
thank you. It's
Yeah.
one of them. It's you know what it sees what's happening. Brain injuries are one of them things you don't see. You don't really see. Do you know what I mean? You don't know what that person's going
You
through.
can't look at somebody,
You
right,
don't
and
really
visibly
see.
see you can't visibly
Yeah,
see the effects, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
if someone's
that's
deformed
it.
or they've got scars or they've got something
Yeah, you
visibly
can see
wrong.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that. And it's one of them. Sometimes I look at myself and I think, do you know what, Joe? Have you had a brain injury? Are
Yeah.
you living with a brain injury? Are you really? And I said, well, yeah. Yeah, I want to try to do certain things. But all in all, I try to say to myself that I'm super fit. I can do anything I want.
Yeah.
But in reality, I just take it easy. I take
Well,
each day as it comes, and I try not to put too much pressure on myself. In the early days, I used to try and put too much pressure on myself and think, I need to be doing that. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing
yeah.
that. I need to be acting like this. And I need to hide this. I need to hide that. Do you know what I mean? It's just, nah, that's too much hard work. Do you know what I mean? It's too much like hard work. And
Well,
who am I trying to kid? Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Who are we doing this for? Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm
Exactly.
fascinated by the book though, man. You know, I wanted to start it a little earlier out. You know, but I will get through it, as will Benji's. You know, we kind of pull from the same kind of collection of books. He just comes and poaches off of my list all the time because I've got them all on my phone. So I'm really looking forward to digging in and finishing it. And I'll tell you what, you know, you may have only been 11 fights into your career, but overcoming this, that makes you a champion right there.
Absolutely. No, respect for that. Yeah, respect.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it, because that's a fight right there that a lot of people can't come back from right there.
100%. And it's a difficult one to fight. And I respect to everybody, every other fellow fighters that are that encounter this, that are going through this right now, because it's tough, but you have to be tougher than your challenges. You know what I mean?
I love that.
And get through it. You do.
I love that right there. I'm gonna etch that down somewhere, man. Be tougher than your challenges. I love that,
you
man.
know, I just made that one. I don't know if anyone else has said that before, but it's true.
Take credit for it, Jerome. Come on, take credit for it. That one's yours.
I put my name under that. You have to be tougher than your challenges.
Stick it on there quick.
I'm saying it again. That sounds good.
Yeah, it sure does. It sure does. And of course, when I send you the link to the episode, you can play it back. So we'll always have it here. You know what I mean? It's memorialized now on you know, on the internet. So yeah, but hey, listen, I'm fully okay with calling you champ, man. You are a champion, you know, in life, and that's more important than what you accomplish in the ring. It really is. You know, so a huge salute to you. I look forward to finishing the book. After I'm done, I'll let you know like what I think.
I look forward to starting it and finishing it.
Yeah. We're pretty fast readers, man. So we'll dive through it here like in the next week or so. And you know, we really enjoyed having you on here, man. It's been a real honor, and I do hope you'll stay in touch. We'd love to have you back on again.
You can talk about the story after you've read the book.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Please just promise us no pop quizzes, okay? No quizzes. But maybe a book review. I like what I'm reading so far, though. It's fantastic, and I'm glad that it helped you through a difficult time. It seemed like it was very therapeutic for you as well.
Oh, it was to look back on certain things. It is definitely it's an eye opener. Sometimes you realize you're in blinkers when you're walking through certain things, certain parts in your life, and then when you look back at it, you think, "Oh yeah, you was blinkered." You know, at times. But it's an eye opener.
Well, we appreciate having you on, man. It has been an absolute pleasure and an honor getting the chance to talk to you, Jerome. And as I said, please stay in touch, and we'll definitely talk again and do this again soon.
I appreciate you having me on.
It was an honor, Jerome. It really was, man. And you know, glad to see you doing well, man. And you know, continued success, man. Keep fighting the good fight, my friend.
Respect. Have a good one.
Yeah, talk to you soon, brother. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Later.
Good guy, man. Been through a hell of a road, man. Hell of a road. And I look forward to diving into that. I look forward to diving more into that book. I've got the font so goddamn big now to share with our audience because my eyes are so shitty that it literally says that I've got 1,000 some odd pages to go. But it's really just because I made the font big. It's really like a 200 some odd page book. But when you're old and you're 51 like me, and you need the letters to be about 2 inches tall, yeah, it shows up. And I'm reading it on a phone as well. So I mean, but yeah, we're ready to roll with another episode. This is how Off the Couch Boxing is coming, folks. We're just rolling right in. We're not going to tell you who, but you will find out though soon. But
from Baby Busey to Gary Busey, I can go 15 seconds with anything.
That's right. And thank you to Jerome Wipeout Wilson, man, a legend for what he's been through and what he's come back from. And again, a grim, visceral reminder, man, that boxing is not something that you fucking play. Other sports you play, basketball, baseball, football, you play. Boxing, you either, you live it. You live it.
Yeah, you gotta
live it. Yeah. So please
like, subscribe, hit the notification bell,
all that
Facebook.
Yeah, and go check out and go check out Jerome Wipeout Wilson's book, which I believe is called Wiped Out, and an eye-opening read, as you heard. It was him journaling and chronicling his recovery process. So you kind of go through it and come back from it right alongside him. Of course, with my shitty eyes, my gripe is no audiobook form, but hey, for a guy like that, who's such a legend for coming back like something like that, man, I'll go back into the, I'll dust off the peepers and actually do some physical reading. So yes, please like and subscribe.
You heard him say though, too, that he's got deficit in the left side. So he might not be able to sit and read his own.
That's true. That's true too. Yeah.
He might not be able to
Right. So he deserves the utmost credit. A big honor, man, joining us from across the pond. The international boys do it again, man. We bring you the goods, man. Going everywhere and anywhere to scour the world for great boxing interviews and great boxing content that you ain't going to find anywhere else. So make sure you're tapping in, man. The new content is coming fast and furious on a weekly basis, and it all kicks ass like all the guests we have on here.
Right.
Yeah, we're in the ass kicking business.
Just like we were actually the first people to interview Ika Bayabuchi.
Yes, yeah. Stop it, whoever's out there trying to say you got the first interview since 1999. Stop it! Don't get me started on that. We got to close this one down, man. I want to remind
the slogan.
Yeah, I want to remind all of you that if you want to be a champion, please remember that you have to roll with the champ.